Reverend Dr. William L. Johnson III here with our morning meditation. For several years, I have been offering these morning meditations as a form of inspiration and encouragement for those who would hear. We began this time of sharing here in the hospital in the middle of the pandemic. And we understood that as much as many of us were entrapped with our circumstances, dealing with grief, dealing with the heavy load of making it through, and dealing with the daily doses of grief and pain and struggle during the pandemic, we also needed to be lifted up and encouraged along the way. And so these morning meditations were designed just for you. As you're journeying through your day, through your week, through your life, I hope that you can grab hold to this cadre of inspiration and encouragement, reach into that bag and pull out something that will inspire you to keep pushing on to be the best you can be in the life that you're living. Now to our morning meditation. Today's morning meditation is entitled Living Poetically. Living Poetically. I recall having a high school class, college composition course. I had been introduced to a lot of different creative writing opportunities, but there I remembered being touched in many ways by poetry. Poetry has this way of speaking to us that calls out the best in us and calls us to look at our lives and reflect on the lives that we're living and how we live with one another. And so I wanted to share this message of encouragement and to say to you, I think it's important to live poetically. So, what do I mean by that? Well, let me share a little bit about poetry for those of you who may be, like me, a novice in understanding all of these things that are happening there. I want to share with you what's really important as we talk about poetic living. Poetry in and of itself has three real main types of poetry. The first type of poetry is narrative poetry. Narrative poetry seeks to tell a story, to draw a picture, paint a picture for us to see into a world that we may have not been able to see into before or ignored. And so that it opens the canvas, if you will, and starts to paint a picture for us to see life in a different and new way. It may show us the life of a caterpillar trying to make its way on a leaf. It may highlight the way leaves blow in the wind and show us how to be resilient in the midst of storms. It may even be that in which we discover as a water going down the stream, reminding us that we are on our way to a destination, even as we are living our lives. Whatever poetry does, it has a narrative form that reminds us that there's a story being told, that we are somewhere in the process of an ongoing story that needs to be shared with the world. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But poetry also has this other component. It is dramatic. It has the ability to highlight and seek to evoke emotions out of us. In fact, I would call it inspiration. It is called there and put there. Poetry has a way of pulling us to a place where we are inspired by what we see. Now, that inspiration might motivate us to do several things. It may make us feel angry. It may make us feel bad. It may make us feel sad. It may make us feel happy. It may make us feel cheery. But poetry has the way of enacting some sort of inspiration or to draw out and evoke some emotions out of us. The third type of poetry is the kind of poetry that speaks to this other thing. It is not something that deals with this narrative. It does not necessarily seek to evoke and to pull out or inspire feelings or emotions, but it's just for the fun of living. It reminds us of rhythm and rhyme and how the sounds come out and how they go together. It is almost this kind of thing that is almost subconsciously drumming to a rhythm or a beat of its own, that we find ourselves in the timbre or in the rhythm of that poetry. And so to live poetically means that we are called to be persons that are living with an understanding of exposing a narrative, to highlight the stories of our lives, to highlight what it is that's happened to us. How many of us have tamped down all of the things that we've experienced as if they were nothing, not knowing that every day has meaning, every moment has meaning, everything that we encounter and experience has some value to it, even if it breaks our heart. When we are living poetically, we recognize those things around us to be telling us an ongoing story, and our story is telling to the world around us that we've been here, we've lived our lives, we've encountered others, and we've impacted the larger story in the world. To live poetically also challenges us to be dramatic, to be able to inspire. In other words, what's the use of living your life and never having an impact on anyone or anything around you? You are here for a reason, to have impact, and your creator created you to live poetically. In other words, to be in a place where your life matters, whether you are a school teacher in the lives of and looking into the eyes of a child who needs to depend on your encouragement to believe that they can achieve. And there's nothing better than to look into the eyes of that child in kindergarten, now at graduating from college, and you know you planted the seed of encouragement that they could do more than what they even imagined they could do. It is important to inspire. It's important to live our lives encouraging others along the way, and to encourage ourselves along the way as well. Living poetically causes us to be able to say to others, whether we're in the hospital, a doctor, a nurse, a caregiver, a chaplain, whatever your role is in the hospital, whatever your role is in life, don't live it as if you don't matter. What you say matters, it carries weight. What you do matters, it carries weight. How you talk to a patient at bedside matters. How you visit them if you're a social worker matters. What you say and how you see them matters. And it doesn't really mean anything until you've been on the other side of when someone looked into your soul and says, I believe in you and I believe in what you're going through. I am here with you in confidence and in love, and I'm going to stay with you in prayer and in cooperation and collaboration with your goals. Well, wow, it means a lot. So know that you inspire. I hope your inspiration is a positive one. I hope that it encourages others and not puts them in the place where they wish they had never come in contact with you. One of the things I share messages and things, and I think of my mother often in her conversations with others. And when we talk, one of the things she reminded me, and I hold true to that I would never put the people who invested in me, I would never make them feel sorry for ever being kind to me. I never want anyone to feel sorry for ever investing and believing in me. The teachers who taught me, I never want them to feel sorry that they had me in their class. I never want those who gave me a chance at employment to feel sorry that they hired me. I never want my family to feel sorry that I'm a part of their family. In other words, I realize that my life has impact and purpose, and so I want to choose to live poetically. Finally, let me finish this message, and I want to share with you probably the part that is important. To live poetically means to live narratively, to live dramatically, and to live lyrically. And that is what the part where I said that last part, where it has a rhythm to it. To live your life lyrically means that you allow for life to come and to enjoy it. Lyrically means that you dance with every note and you lend your words and your life to the way life moves you through life. In other words, it is okay, like the psalmist in the Bible, to be able to record what you have felt along the way in a lyrical way. In other words, I will hear David's words. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. Why? Because I am learning how to live my life in this moment, not in the last, not in the next, but lyrically on the rhythm that life is bringing me. And I have learned that as I grew up in my home church at Washington Metropolitan Church here in St. Louis, I discovered that the song opening was a great one. It would say the choir would sing as an introit, all people of God come worship the Lord. Come, he is here, and he waits to hear voices and instruments, whether it's your faith tradition or not. But if you would enter your life and say that the one who created me has something in store for me today, I'm going to enter this life and enter this day with expectation, and that I'm going to live it out no matter what. And then to be able to hear the words that the psalmist or David spoke again, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. I love thinking of that song because the context is that David is not in a good situation when he speaks that. Things are not going well for him. The sun is not shining for him. He is not being loved and applauded. He's on the run and he's running for his life. And he says in confidence, no matter what happens today, God made it and designed it. And I'm going to choose not to be angry, not to be mad, not to run away from it, not to decline whatever is coming my way, but I'm going to choose to rejoice in it and be glad. In other words, being glad does not mean you're happy with the circumstances, but you know that in the midst of it, you're going to make the most out of it. So I'm encouraging you to live poetically. Make the most out of your life. Make the most out of your day. Live it with a narrative, knowing that you are not where you were and you're not where you're going. Someone said, well, I may not be where I'm going, but I'm certainly not where I used to be. And I'm in a different place, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and yes, sometimes physically. But I also want to encourage you to live poetically, not just for yourself, but for others around you. Others are watching the beauty of your poem. You are writing a poem. It's dancing on the lines of your canvas. Write it well. Live your best life and live it with joy. It's important to write down the painful parts too, to be able to give the narrative accurately. Don't make it up, but go ahead and live it and make the most out of even the worst of circumstances. You'll be surprised what life will bring your way. Live poetically. Well, this is our morning meditation, and I want to encourage you. I want you to know that you're loved, you're appreciated, and you're irreplaceable. Live your best life. Be blessed today. Be blessed all week. Be blessed for the rest of your life. Enjoy it because it's the one life we're given. Take care.